now with the Liberal Party making this position. Now let's go live to Liberal member for Hughes, Jenny Ware. Jenny Ware, thanks for your time. What's your reaction to this news that Ken Wyatt has quit the Liberal Party over the stance taken yesterday?
Kieran, I'm very sorry I didn't have the opportunity to serve in the federal parliament with Ken Wyatt. Ken served his electorate and the parliament and the Australian people very well for a number of years. Ken obviously has to make his own decisions as to what he does in terms of his support for The Voice, and I completely respect his decision.
You raised some concerns about the stance that the Liberal Party took yesterday. I know your colleague Bridget Archer did as well. She said that she's going to campaign for a yes vote. Will you do the same?
Kieran, we had a very robust and candid conversation in the party room yesterday, and coming out of that, the Liberals have put forward a threefold proposition as to how we see constitutional recognition of Indigenous people being recognised. We need to close the gap in relation to the costs of living and the living standards of our Indigenous Australians as against our non-Indigenous Australians. Our threefold plan is, first of all, constitutional recognition of Indigenous Australians, local and regional voices enshrined in legislation that will then provide the Parliament with advice as to how we help Indigenous Australians, listening to them at that local and regional level, and thirdly, a nationally legislated voice to the federal parliament.
And do you feel comfortable with where the Liberal Party has landed now? Because it also includes a firm no, as Mr Dutton put it, on the current wording of the amendment to the Constitution as to be put by the government to the people in that referendum.
One of the reasons that I'm a proud member of the Liberal Party, Kieran, is that yesterday we were given a free vote. The backbenchers, which includes myself, we were given a free vote as to where we will stand when the legislation comes before the Parliament and we have an opportunity to vote in about 5 weeks' time. I've indicated I wish to go back to my community, my electorate of Hughes, negotiate with them, listen to them, and before I form a final position. But again, the position that I will have a free vote in the federal Parliament is one that is open to me as a member of the Liberal Party, that is not open to those who are in the Labor Party.
Once you consult with your constituents in Hughes, is there still the prospect that you will, after listening to them, then advocate for a yes vote?
What has come out of the party room yesterday, Kieran, is that I will be given a free vote on this. So I intend to listen to my community, form a view before I come back to the Parliament in 5 weeks' time to vote.
And in terms of the referendum itself, though, are you still open to where you land on that? Because the advice that we had out of the party room was that you argued internally that for support for the referendum.
One of the issues that is still coming out of the way that the government has framed this question is problematic. Constitutional recognition of Indigenous Australians is something that I believe almost 100% of Australians support. However, the retention in the question of potential review of executive government decisions leaves open decisions that can be made by every bureaucrat. It leaves open to potential High Court challenge every decision from submarines to parking tickets. So, Kieran, in terms of the way that the question is currently framed, I do have issues with it, and I believe that most Australians are very protective of our Constitution. It's our foundational document. Australia became a democracy upon federation, and we are one of the few nations in the world who, upon becoming a democracy, upon federation, had a document which is only reviewable and only subject to change by the citizens of our country. And it is very important that we protect that document and that any changes that are made to it are made with careful consideration. We have put forward a viable solution, a viable question that can be put to the Australian people, and I call upon the Albanese government to use the committee process that is coming forward to really consider whether or not the question that is being put to the Australian people is one that the majority of Australians in the majority of states are going to be able to agree to.
If they remove the reference to executive government, would you vote for it?
If they remove the reference to executive government, it would be a very good start, and then we would have to see the remaining context of the question. And I have to go back. I want to consult with my community, with my electorate, before I form a final position on this.
Do you believe the Liberal Party might have been premature in suggesting a firm no, as Mr Dutton said, before the parliamentary committee's even gone through all the detail and looked at the wording?
No, I think the Liberal Party has behaved in accordance with its usual values, which is to consider the position carefully, to look at how we then resolve this for Aboriginal people. And we want to ensure that if there is constitutional change, that it is done in a way that will also lead to Indigenous Australians' lives being improved. We need to close the gap, Kieran. The differentials in life markers between Aboriginal and Indigenous Australians and non-Indigenous Australians is appalling. At every measure of life conditions, we are nowhere near where we should be, and we need to then be consulting with and through the local, regional voices. That is a way that we can hear as parliamentarians, we can hear what is needed in those communities.
Liberal member for Hughes, Jenny Ware, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kieran.